Networking in college is quiet. If you're waiting for an event, then you're already late. Networking is more so about conversation. It isn't always an event. And that conversation can come from speaking to strangers as you're walking down the street, stopping someone in the union and telling them, hey, I like your pants. Where'd you get them from? And the conversation flows from there. Or sometimes it's about opening conversation in time for deeper conversations like, hey, how has your mental been this semester? What tips would you give to someone who's just starting out or to someone who's et cetera, et cetera? And other times it can be spontaneous. Me personally, I like to ask questions that isn't necessarily everybody's cup of tea. I'll give you an example. Sometimes I like to ask people, hey, how's your grandma doing? Mind you, these are strangers. But nonetheless, I like to ask them, hey, how's your grandma doing? And sometimes they'll tell me, hey, she's doing pretty well. And they'll have this confused look on their face because they're wondering why I'm asking about their grandma that I don't know. But then they tell me, or they'll ask, like, hey, why are you asking about my grandma? Sometimes they'll laugh it off. But either way, it's a conversation starter that isn't surface level or small talk, like, how's the weather? I hate that question. Sometimes I still ask because I really would like to talk about the weather. But most days, I don't really want to talk about the weather. I ask, how's your grandma? Or I'll ask, hey, what'd you do last Tuesday? Mind you, these are strangers, so it's completely throwing them off that I asked them what they did last Tuesday. But it's always a great conversation starter because I'm a stranger. And I'll always stick with the spontaneous questions rather than, hey, how's your day going? Or how are you feeling about the semester? Or how's your grades? And those are great question starters. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I go to those if I don't want to ask the spontaneous questions, but on most days, I love to ask the spontaneous questions. But nonetheless, networking usually comes from those conversations with people that you didn't really expect to have, you know? Most of the time I find myself saying, hey, it's funny that I know you because I met you walking down the street rather than I kind of went to an event to network with people. And those are great too, but it's just another way that I like to network.